And we are back. Welcome to part 2 of this episode, where we're going to be looking at the gods and getting the various avatar form skills. Here you can see and he killed me. I'm trying to fight the Acolyte of Grenth, who will give us the 4th of 5 avatar skills. Grenth is the next one we're going to be looking at then. He is the kind of the god of death. You know, you always kind of get a dark kind of evil. I don't want to say evil, because Grenth isn't necessarily evil. None of the gods really are evil. I don't really like that term at all, but yeah, Grenth isn't exactly evil, but he is to do with the dark arts a lot, you know, with the dead, and his realm is the underworld, which is where new spirits go to when they die, and he kind of judges everyone. He's kind of described as a judge, in fact. So here's his form. You can see he's got like a ram's head. Everywhere he's been pictured, if you look at any picture really anywhere, he's got this kind of big skull, and it's kind of freaky actually. I don't know whether that means that when he was immortal he had that skull, or whether he only acquired that when he became a god, or what. We actually know quite a lot about Grenth and how he became a god. If you were to go to, as I say, the underworld is his realm, and in his realm, and again I'll be doing an episode on that, just like I'll be doing the Fissure of Woe, but basically you learn that before he was a god, he actually usurped someone else, someone named Doom. And now the way Doom is spelled, I always used to think it was dumb, but apparently it's Doom, so there you go. But yeah, he usurped this guy, and this previous god of death and ice, never allowed resurrection. You might have, obviously you've noticed, if you've been watching the Let's Play, when people die in Tyria, they can come back to life at resurrection shrines and stuff under certain circumstances, and that's because now that Grenth is the god of death and ice, he actually allows resurrection where his predecessor did not, which is quite interesting. So as you saw back there, I was when I used /dance. When you're under this avatar form, you actually get male necromancer animations. And that's because among other people, the necromancers see Grenth sort of as their patron god. So yeah, let's. I've kind of skipped ahead of myself. Let's just get a brief overview of what Grenth is all about. Wiki has to say that Grenth is the god of death and ice. Remember the fact that he's the god of ice, by the way, because there's quite an interesting sort of distinction between the idea in Guild Wars of being the god of ice and the god of being water. Water elementalists also follow Grenth because he's like the god of ice, but there is also a separate god of water. So it gets a little bit confusing, but just remember, he's the god of death and ice, not necessarily water. So the Nightfall manuscript says that necromancers revere Grenth, as do water elementalists, who often punish their enemies with chilling cold. When the world is at its darkest, fearful souls pray to him as a means of last resort. Worship of Grenth requires sacrifice. Any path to his hidden secrets tests the soul as much as it does the mind. His acolytes and cultists know that the veil between worlds is thin, but if they can pay a price of blood and souls, the bodies of the dead will rise up and wreak havoc in the world of the living. The faithful know that when they die, their souls will eventually pass on to the mists, but they still pray to Grenth so that he may ease their suffering along the way. Monuments to Grenth portray him with the body of a man and the narrow skull of a beast. Throughout Alona, many of these statues have piles of bone and ivory beneath them, left as offerings by anonymous fearful commoners. When life is difficult, zealous worshippers leave offerings of flesh and sinew, showing their devotion with fanatic displays of sacrifice. A dervish, assuming the form of Grenth, glares at the world through a bestial skull, measuring the worth of each fallen corpse. So there's this, as I said earlier, there's this big idea of Grenth being a judge. What happens to new souls when they die and they go to the underworld? It's Grenth that judges them, judges how they've lived their life, and he decides what afterlife they end up going to. So he's kind of seen as a bit of a judge as well. I would say that really, out of all of the gods, Grenth is the one probably with the most fleshed out backstory, just because when we do go to the underworld and when you do go to his realm, you can learn quite a lot about how he became the god of death and ice, and you can learn quite a few nice things about him, and for that I quite like the character. I don't usually play kind of the dark arts characters, but that's obviously this is that kind of god for you. Anyway, here we're back at the garrison at the Kourna, at the Jarin estate, sorry, and you can actually see it's still destroyed, which I think is really nice. Like, you can see some of the buildings are on fire and stuff from when we raided it with all those centaurs, which is just pretty sweet. And here is the final acolyte, the 5th acolyte. This is the acolyte of Dwayna. Now, as you can see, we've captured the skill. Here I am using it. And I actually think you look pretty cool on this one. Dwayna is, you remember earlier when I was talking about Melandru being winged? Dwayna is the other one that's winged. Look at her. I really do like the way that this form looks. It comes very close to Balthazar for me. And Dwayna is pretty much kind of the opposite of Grenth, I guess. While Grenth is kind of all dark rituals and so on, Dwayna is life and air. You can see here, this is the dance. This is the monk dance, because monks, I think it's the female monk dance. Yeah, it must be. It's the female monk dance, and that's because the monks consider Dwayna to be their patron goddess. And she, probably most importantly, I saved her for last. I actually did it in no particular order, but I ended up doing her last. She is the leader of all of the gods. She's like... And she's described as the leader, but you never really find out what exactly she did as the leader. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering what I'm doing on screen here, is you remember in the Badok Caverns I told you that if you found the right way through, you could find some hidden treasure? I'm going to that treasure now to give me time to talk about Dwayna. Yeah, so she's described as being the leader of the other gods. Now, they're not clear on why she is described as that. I can't find too many examples of her acting like a leader, but she clearly has some way to act as the leader of the others, and she's probably for that reason one of the most important gods. Maybe it was her idea to come to Tyria in the first place, to try and to bring humanity to it, to bring life to it, to bring this, to bring that. Maybe not. I mean, we're not 100% sure, but she is the leader. So let's refer to Wiki, shall we, to see what they've got to say about her. It says that Dwayna is the goddess of life and air. She is the patron goddess of wind prayer dervishes, so that's us, air elementalists, and monks. Dwayna was the first of the 5 true gods to appear to the human race and present her blessings. She is greatly revered and celebrated during the Winter's Day festivities. So she was actually the first one to see us. Maybe that's why everybody thinks she's the leader. So here's what the Nightfall manuscripts say. They say that Dwayna watches the world from the heavens, beautifully observing humanity. Healing monks and air elementalists consider her their patron goddess, but countless heroes in need of healing whisper her name in prayer. Dwayna speeds travellers on their journeys, and when her followers are in danger, she sends down lightning from the sky to punish their enemies. In works of art, Dwayna is often shown as a tall, slender woman rising above the ground on feathered wings. Elonian artists sometimes show her rising from their lands ravaged by drought, disease, or plague. A dervish, assuming the form of Dwayna, towers over mortal men, surrounded by elegant wings. So there you go. She's a pretty cool god as well. I think they've all got something to like about them. You guys have seen all of the forms now, and you've heard a bit about all of the gods. Maybe, hopefully, some stuff that you never knew before. Of course, as I said, when Guild Wars 2 comes around, if you create a human character, you're going to have to make the choice: which god do you like most? There are other things to learn about the gods. Obviously there's a lot to do with Abaddon that I've not gone over, simply because that would be pretty massive spoilers for later on in the Nightfall story, and lots of other stuff that we will be going over eventually, sort of when I show you guys the underworld, when I show you the Fissure of Woe and all of this other stuff. But for now, you know, make your choice everyone. Which form do you like most? Just tell me which one you like most, and then I'll just start playing with that mostly through this campaign. I'll probably switch around. I don't like to stick with the same stuff too much, but yeah, it's my intention to use these avatars for quite a while, because they are quite good, quite powerful skills, quite fun to use. So yeah. Anyway, here we are. We're almost at the treasure now. I was really happy first time I found this, because I'd not been on the wiki. I didn't know about it beforehand. I was just out exploring, and I came over here and I saw these Hecate, and you see that wall behind us? It looks like there's nothing there, but if you have a nice little look around, you can actually go behind it. It's a really cool place, and there's all this gold here, and just 2 Hecates staring at it. You kill those and you can see that there's an interactive object there called Do Not Touch, and you'll all see what happens when you do touch it. So I kind of have to, I play it safe and I move all of my heroes away. It's just this huge glittering pile, and when you click it, you grab the you can grab the loot, like so, and loads of gym pop up, just completely out of nowhere. If you're not ready for them, they can do a number on you, but obviously because I flagged everyone because I was ready, they weren't very much of a problem. And yeah, you'll see that this happens at a few other treasure chests that we'll find as we go along. It's a pretty nice little touch. It's just these little things that I really appreciate. But yeah, there we go. That's the end of the episode, guys. I'm going to stop waffling now. It turns out I probably did waffle a lot, even though I tried not to. We've got a baseline of knowledge about the gods now, so hopefully we're all on the same page, and we can all kind of understand and appreciate what happens later on in the Nightfall campaign. Because, like I say, it is very much about the gods. So I'll see you next.